Hi and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Shireen and today I'm going to be doing a almost full face review of Milk Makeup. I know it's been a couple of months since I last uploaded, but I'm excited to be filming again. I'm excited to be talking about this specific brand, and I'm also in the process of doing some research for another skincare video. This one's going to be about retinoids, so look out for that coming up in the next couple of weeks. So my review today is going to be on Milk Makeup. I have almost a full face worth of products here. I'm also going to talk about some Milk products that I've tried in the past but don't have with me now, but still have an opinion on, so I can share that information with you as well, just in case it's interesting or important or informative to you. The format for this video is going to be a little bit different. As you can tell, I'm wearing all of the products on my face right now, so I'm not going to be putting them on as I talk. Instead, I filmed myself putting on the products, so I'm going to insert clips of those into this video so that you can see what it looks like, what techniques I used, how they applied, that kind of thing, and still hear my review of the products. I've been testing out these products for the past week, and when I test things out, I like to try them in a variety of ways using a variety of brushes. So I'll try with my fingertips, I'll try applying directly with the stick if that's applicable, I'll try with a brush, with a beauty blender, I'll try the foundation with my own primers, with the Milk Makeup primer, I'll just attempt different assortments of products, and depending on the product, I will try it however number of times and however many which ways I think that I need to in order to form an opinion. So for instance, with a gloss, I think that I can kind of tell how I feel about a gloss after wearing it once and seeing how it wears over the course of a couple of hours. Whereas with a foundation or a lot of the cream face products, I'll need to try it in an assortment of different ways so I can really be sure that what I'm telling you is my real and honest opinion as opposed to a somewhat biased first impression. So that's kind of what's been happening. Part of the reason why I wanted to do this specific brand, or rather why I chose this specific brand, is that it's one of 3 brands that I feel come up a lot in the community of people that I know. And so those 3 brands are Glossier, which I've already done a review of, Milk Makeup, and Fenty. I think that's just like what's popular in my general friend group / the people who I went to school with, etc. This will be more positive than the Glossier review. Fortunately, I liked a lot more of these products than I did with Glossier, which is good because that was a, overwhelmingly negative review. Milk Makeup, get a lot of questions about it, wanted to try out a range of products and tell you my opinion. So, something that I want to know first is that when you get the products, like when you purchase them, when you order them, I pick these up in a Sephora, they come in this kind of packaging. So I think literally everything came in something like this. This was for the brow product, this was for the gloss, this was for the foundation, and then all the stick products came in these kind of things. And while it's nice, and I guess it's kind of an assurance that the product hasn't been used, this is pretty thick plastic, and I just think that this is wasteful because I can't imagine having a use for these containers outside of originally holding the product. Like I would immediately take the product out and like throw these away and not like reuse them in any way. So I think that's not particularly sustainable or necessary. I don't see what kind of value it brings. This was for the brow product, by the way. So don't love that about the brand. If my channel was big enough that brands would watch me, I would be like, hey Milk, stop it. But it's not, so that's fine. Just something that I wanted to know. Obviously it has nothing to do with the quality of the product, but does have to do with the brand. So I'm going to start now with the actual products. The first thing that I tried on is the Milk Makeup Blur Stick. So this is a stick product. You get a fair amount of product, as you can tell. And they have a luminous version and a matte version of this as well. I just took the original Blur Stick. And with this guy, so I just applied this using the stick directly onto my face, which was fine. I didn't think that it tugged too much. I thought that it deposited about the right amount of product. And after I applied my makeup, I felt like there was a slight blurring effect. As a result of having used this product, I used this product with my regular foundation, which is L'Oreal Pro Glow, as well as with the Milk Makeup Blur Liquid Foundation, and with both, I did think that it had a blurring effect. So in that sense, worthwhile. However, I do think that this kind of application process isn't particularly hygienic because you're rubbing a stick on your face repeatedly. You could wipe the stick after each use, in which case you're wasting some product from wiping it, but that's an option. This is just not my preferred way to use a product, but I do think that it had a blurring effect. That said, the blurring effect was pretty marginal. It does add another step to your routine, and I felt like the product kind of got broken down after a few hours, and I didn't notice that my pores were particularly blurred after that point. So again, it is adding another step into your makeup routine. It does cost, I believe, in the 20s. Let me double check for you. Oof, okay. So the standard size of this product, which gives you 28 grams, costs $36, which I think is not worth it. I think that it does have a slight effect. Effect is pretty small, adds an unnecessary step to your routine. Not particularly affordable product. Next, I'm going to talk about the Blur Liquid Foundation. I got the shade Warm Medium, and I thought it was a very good shade match for me, actually. I was very happy with it. And for this foundation, you get 30 milliliters of product, $40, which is pretty standard pricing for a high-end brand. It's not particularly affordable. It's not particularly expensive for what the brand is. When it comes to how the product performed, I think that it actually offers a lot more pigmentation than I expected it to. I'm very pleased with the amount of pigmentation, and I actually really love how the foundation looks when I first apply it. So right now, I have it on, really happy with how it looks. I think that it does have a blurring effect, so it is aptly named. It didn't cause any like irritation for me. I like the kind of dewiness that I get from it. It doesn't say, oh, it says matte foundation. I don't think that this is a matte foundation. I think this is a slightly glowy, natural finish type foundation. Really, really love how it looks right now. But I've worn this for the whole day a few times, and it turns so oily within 3 or 4 hours, which for me is a really poor wear time. I want products to wear around the 6-hour mark, and then I start giving them a little bit more leeway because I rarely want something to only work for 3 hours, and afterwards I'm like, okay, my makeup's kaput. I don't care how it looks, right? And I thought that it wore off really, really easily. Like if I were to touch my chin or if my hair was to brush against my cheek or anything like that, the product would wear off. So for that reason, I'm not particularly happy with it. For concealer, Milk Makeup does have a concealer. I have tried it in the past. It is not full coverage enough for me, so not a fan. But if you prefer a lighter coverage concealer, maybe try it out. The shade range was not bad when I looked. I actually just used the ColourPop concealer, which is $6, and it's so incredible and is my new favorite concealer. So anyway, side note, little plug for that product. Let's talk about the bronzer. This is the matte bronzer. This is another stick product, and it is this shade. This is the shade Baked. They have one that's deeper than this shade. That one was way too deep for my skin tone. And something I will say about the shade Baked is that it takes a lot of product for this to show up on my skin tone. And I'm definitely not like particularly dark in the medium range. So I think that there definitely is a range of skin tones in the middle between like the deep skin tones and the very fair skin tones where they don't really have a bronzer that works. That said, once I apply a fair amount of this, it is still subtle, don't get me wrong, but it does show up, which I'm happy with. I thought that it blended so beautifully. I tried a couple of different ways of using this product, and the way that worked best for me was to apply the stick directly onto my face. Again, hygiene related concerns with that, but you know, when you're dealing with stick products, that just comes with the territory. And then to blend it out with this brush. So this is the Morphe E8, and it's a very densely bristled brush, and I would just blend out the product using it, and again, would blend so beautifully. Was so impressed with this product. Very beginner friendly. Definitely recommend it for that reason. This was actually one of the star standout products when it comes to the cream products that I've tried, the cream bronzers that I've tried. I had a very good experience with this. I also tried using it with the Beauty Blender. I thought that the Beauty Blender sheared it out so much, again, because you're using a damp sponge that'll shear out whatever product you're using it with, that I couldn't really see it on my face. So I do prefer the brush application process, but when I do it, it gives a subtle bronzing effect. I thought in terms of lasting power, cream products don't last particularly well on me. I do tend to prefer powder products for that reason, among others. but not bad. Definitely hit my like 6 hour-ish mark, which is, you know, I think a fair way to assess the lasting power of a product. Happy with this, recommend it. Let's just check the price so I can tell you that in this video as well. Okay, this product is $24. I think, again, for a high-end brand, that's a fair mark, and I think that it is worth the money based on how it performed, assuming that you like cream products and that you're okay with this kind of like stick form application. Anyway, yeah, I liked it. Good. Next, moving on to the cheek product. This is the Lip and Cheek Cream Blush. It just says Lip and Cheek on it. Anyway, and then this is in the shade Work. They have a variety of shades. I just picked out the one that I thought would look best on me. Ooh, this color reminds me a lot of NARS Dolce Vita, and I think that's part of why it resonated. Also, a lot of the blushes look like they would be too light on my skin tone, so again, kind of went for this one. I really like this on my cheeks. I think that it is pretty pigmented, which I tend to prefer in a blush. I know a lot of people like a more buildable blush. I don't. I think that this shows up really beautifully. My preferred way of applying it was just with the bottom of my beauty blender. I thought that worked really well, but I also think that it works fine with a brush if that's how you prefer to apply cheek products. This one I would hazard against applying directly onto your cheek because I think that where blush goes is a pretty common breakout area. So not super hygienic, wouldn't really recommend it. I didn't like it on my lips. I think that it looks kind of dry on my lips. And I think the price is, okay, I think this one also costs $24. I think that's also worth it if you want a cream blush. As I said, in terms of lasting power on me, like I said, cream products don't last as well as powder products. I don't really know why, because I have dry skin and there's this whole narrative around cream products and dry skin. Not my experience, but it lasts long enough for me to not be concerned about its lasting power, and good product, recommend it. Next is the Milk Makeup Highlighter. This is the shade Lit. Looks darker than it is on the skin. I'm wearing it now. I thought that this product was pretty subtle as far as highlighters go, and it takes a fair amount of building up. I think that's fine. I kind of prefer that to a highlighter that doesn't build up well and looks cakey, or to a highlighter that's too much all at once, especially because I don't love a super strong highlight. I've tried a lot of different ways of using this, and it actually took me a long time to decide whether I thought that this was a good product or not. I ultimately settled on just using the side of my beauty blender or just some damp sponge to apply it. For some reason, I think that it looked streakier when I used a brush, and it didn't build up as well. I don't like the idea of applying this directly onto my skin, as I said, and I think that it picked up foundation when I used it, which is interesting because the other two products didn't, the other two cream products didn't. But when I look at it, it does look like a subtle glow, which I love. So I'm gonna go with yes, I like this product. It is a little bit more finicky. You do have to learn how to work with it a little bit more, and so I recommend it a little less enthusiastically than the blush or the bronzer, but I do think that it's good. You gotta work with it though. And this also goes for $24, so kind of my opinion aligns with that. Next is this guy. So this is the Gel Brow, and this is in the shade, what's the darker shade? Pilsner, I think was the shade. Anyway, so this comes with a pretty thick spoolie, and it's in a pencil format, so you would have to sharpen this. This is what it says that it is, and I don't want to say that it's a bad product, I just don't like it. It's a brow gel in a pencil format, so what it'll do is it'll deposit some sheer amount of pigmentation wherever you apply it, and it also tries to gel down the brow hairs. I don't think that it has as much of a making your brow hair stick in place type effect as a traditional brow gel would, but I do see that consistency in it. What I tend to want in a brow pencil is something that I can use to make fine strokes with, so that I can add hair like looking things in areas where it's sparser, and this doesn't really let me do that. So my brows end up looking a little more blocky, That said, it does make your brows look very natural and very bushy, so if that's something that you like, this is not a bad product. Again, just not my preference. And in terms of price, this goes for $18, which I think is a reasonable price point for a high-end brow pencil. Not my favorite. Next is the Kush Fiber Brow Gel. This is in the shade Grind, which is the darker shade. Here we go. I like this product. I think it's a good brow gel. I think that it reminds me of the Benefit Brow Gel, except it's a little bit more natural looking than the Benefit Brow Gel, which is something that you might like. I definitely enjoyed using it. Lasting power was fine. The shade works good for me. Well, for me, whatever. The grammar is a social construct. Enjoyed it. I think it's a good brow gel. I think brow gels are harder to mess up. For me, what kind of makes or breaks a brow gel is the packaging. So if this brush component is too big or kind of weak, or the bristles aren't dense enough, or the bristles are too dense, that's what makes a brow gel bad, because that can make the product hard to control. It can make it clump, etc. That's why I don't like the Anastasia brow gel. But I like this application. I like the formula. Color's good. Also $18. I think it's worth it. I think it's a good brow gel. Also from the Kush line, I have tried the mascara. I didn't like the mascara. I thought that the mascara flaked, not quite flaked, but just like transferred onto my lower lash line a little bit too much. And I kind of thought that it was like a more natural version of Better Than Sex from Too Faced, which is a volumizing mascara and a very, again, flaky, transfery type mascara on me. So not a big fan of the Kush mascara. Also with the Kush products, I haven't really noticed like the intended hydrating effects on my lashes or brows, but that's kind of, I guess, part of the selling point of having CBD in your products. Can't really speak to it. Like the brow gel, didn't really like the mascara. Moving on. Last product is the Milk Makeup Lip Vinyl Gloss. This is in the shade Chillin'. It just like reminded me of other gloss colors that I've enjoyed, so this is the one that I picked. It's pretty goopy, which you might not like. I don't really mind it. I think this went for $14 or $12. Let me check. $12. So this is a $12 gloss, which I think is a very fair price point. I think that it's a good gloss. It's a fairly pigmented gloss, which I enjoy. It reminded me of like a less pigmented version of the Anastasia Beverly Hills glosses, which is one of my favorite gloss formulas. So I liked it. It is sticky, so if you really want your lip products not to be sticky, I wouldn't recommend this. And I think that it lasts pretty well, given that it's a gloss. Anyway, that's my kind of full review. When I put on my full face of Milk makeup, I was so excited about how my makeup looked. I was so happy with it, and then it didn't wear as well, primarily because of the foundation. But overall, there's some products that I really, really liked, notably these products. The bronzer, the blush, the highlight, the gloss, and the brow gel I think are worth the money, and I would recommend them, assuming that you like what they are, meaning cream products, a gloss, and a brow gel. Anyway, that's it for my video. Hopefully this was helpful or you enjoyed watching it, and that I see you in my next video.